Shane.
Hello. Thank you. Good morning. How are you all? Can you all hear me okay? Can you all understand me okay? Excellent, excellent. My name is Shane Mccusker. I run a company called Intelligent Software, and I develop software for recruiters, CRM systems, applicant tracking systems, and I'm probably best known for some of the tools that I produce that we give away for free. Balish mentioned Facebook search tool, and I do other stuff as well. And I may mention my Facebook search tool during this presentation, because that's what we're going to talk about. But before I talk about Facebook, I'm just interested in the audience and what you're doing at the moment. So I was hoping I could ask a question. Where do you get your candidates from? And maybe I can just ask for a little show of hands. This is more to educate me and yourselves. Now, I'm interested to know the sources with which you find people. So who here would have an internal candidate database, a database that you can go back to and get people from again? Show of hands. Okay, that looks like the majority. What about job boards? Who uses job boards to source candidates? Cool, cool. That looks like the majority. LinkedIn's a website. Have you heard of it? Okay, lots of people have heard of LinkedIn. Maybe I should say, does anybody not use LinkedIn? Don't see any hands. Okay, you're all using LinkedIn. Twitter. Now, I'm not talking about tweeting jobs. I'm talking about sourcing and finding candidates on Twitter. Who do? Okay, we've got, I can see at least 5 people, 6, 10. Facebook. What about Facebook? For sourcing candidates. Oh, good. A good dot more sourcing on Facebook. Now, one of the things I've done here is this list is actually the number of people. Most people are using the top of the list, and it's decreasing as we go down, maybe a little swap between Facebook and Twitter. But the numbers of people on these platforms is going the other way. This is monthly active users. Isn't it interesting that you're sourcing in places that are the smallest number of people? Facebook's huge. Facebook's so big. I put a little, how do I do this? Is there a, oh, I've just pressed a button. I thought there's a pointer on this. Doesn't matter. Top one. I've put the population of Europe as top just to gauge it. Look how much bigger Facebook is than the whole of Europe. Every man, woman, and child in Europe. Also notice that the third one down in the lighter blue is Facebook Messenger, which is effectively Facebook as well. 1 billion people. You keep going down the list and you'll see things like Twitter, 313 million monthly active users. Skype is big. Look where LinkedIn is. LinkedIn's towards the bottom of this list. Only 106 million 106 million monthly active users. I know it's got 475 million profiles, but only 106 of them are there every month. Job boards and your own databases aren't even going to figure on this list, you know, in terms of where you are. So I suppose this prompts a question in my mind, which is, why are you using LinkedIn? This will be an interesting experiment. I asked who wasn't using LinkedIn and nobody put their hand up. Maybe you'd be embarrassed. But okay, let's try this one. Who can confidently say that your LinkedIn profile right now is 100% complete and up to date? Well, I'm sure we've got maybe fewer than the Twitter users, but we're getting a few. But hold on a minute, because you know that LinkedIn rewards you if your profiles are up to date. You know that if your profile is 100% complete, then you're going to appear higher in people's searches. And because you all use LinkedIn, I'm going to assume you've got a professional interest in it. I'm assuming that if you're better at using LinkedIn, you're going to be a better recruiter. Your livelihood depends on it. It's not a big ask, it's just filling in a form. You can do that, but you don't. And this is my question, is why LinkedIn, if you're not going to do it, and your livelihood depends on it, why would your candidates do it? Surely you must have asked this question before. Does this surprise you that less than maybe about 20% of the LinkedIn profiles are there every month? You know, so LinkedIn is not really a social network. You can't be friendly on LinkedIn. If you're a job seeker and you join LinkedIn, you say, great, I'm going to find a job. What do you do? How do you find a job on LinkedIn? I've got no connections. I haven't filled in my profile. I'm not going to get deluged by recruiters offering me jobs. So I was thinking about this, and I've come to a couple of conclusions, and this is my opinion. LinkedIn sort of looks like a resume or a CV. So we're familiar with that. And we sort of search LinkedIn the way we search an applicant tracking system or a job board. So that's good too. We feel comfortable with LinkedIn. But probably the main reason we love using LinkedIn is it's a great place to find people we can reject. It's a great place to assess people. It gives you just enough information to tell you they're no good, so you can move on. And it's a really quick way of assessing people. And that's fine. I know I'm going to, after today, even though you'll be inspired by my enthusiasm, you're still going to use LinkedIn. And that's okay, because LinkedIn is a brilliant place to assess people. But maybe it's not the best place to source people. And if you separate out sourcing from assessment, then things get a bit more interesting and a bit more exciting. What am I talking about now? Sorry. My notes are in front of me, and I thought they were going to appear on the screen, so I had to print them out for myself. How amateurish is this? Facebook. I'm going to get excited about Facebook. I'm going to give you 4 reasons why I think you should be interested in Facebook. It's big. It's really big. A few years ago, my wife and I were on holiday, and we went to Jordan, and I recommended it as a holiday destination. We went off and did this desert quad bike thing, and we went through the desert on our quad bikes, and we came to a Bedouin tent in the middle of nowhere, and we were invited in by this half-asleep Bedouin who lived in a tent, and he had a small fire, and that's all he had. He didn't have a toilet, but he had 2 mobile phones to check his Facebook friends. And if he's on Facebook, I thought everybody's on Facebook. 1.71 billion people are on Facebook. Sorry, there's more than that on Facebook. 1.17 people use it every month. That's 1/4 of the world's population. Scary, isn't it? Put it into a European context. 307 million out of a European population of 743 million. That's 40-something%. Make it real to you. How many of your candidates are on Facebook? Must be the vast majority of them. Compared to, think my question about LinkedIn, how many of them are on LinkedIn? This must make anybody who owns Facebook shares excited. The growth of Facebook is 15%. World population growth is only 1.1%, which is a good bit more than Twitter's growth or LinkedIn's growth in terms of monthly active users. So it's growing at a phenomenal rate. And it's, it's such a big thing, it's difficult to ignore. So that's reason number 1, I think you should be interested in Facebook. Reason number 2 is rich. It's big and it's rich. It's rich in information. This is a scary fact. The average length of a visit to Facebook, the average length of time people go on to Facebook is 20 minutes. What are they doing on Facebook for 20 minutes during work time? I'll tell you what they're doing. They're telling Facebook every little detail about themselves and their lives and the little details about everybody else they know. That is a mine of information. It's so valuable and so interesting, particularly those who are interested in gossip. This is the stats of the specific things they're doing. They're being friendly. They're being social. They are sharing content, 4.75 billion shares a day, 4.5 billion likes a day, photographs, 300 million photographs a day. The bottom stat I didn't know until I looked it up, and this is really interesting. Out of the 1.71 billion people who are there, 1.57 are on mobile devices. That's about 90% are on mobile devices. I don't know what the implication of that is, but I thought it was interesting. Reason number 3, and this is where it gets really exciting for everybody in this room. Prepare to be excited. The social graph. The social graph is what underlines Facebook. It's the search engine behind it. Tens of billions of pages, trillions of connections, and it's all searchable by you for free in a fraction of a second. Pretty well the whole lot of it. Now, some people, you might be sitting there thinking, no, I have my privacy settings locked down. Nah, you don't really, you know. You don't really. Bala showed how you can get photographs of people. It's actually quite difficult to lock down Facebook in all its details. It's very difficult to be invisible, even if you don't use Facebook, because other people talk about you. Sorry there. Too many pages. Too many pages. Reason number 4, it's all mine. The whole lot of it is open and searchable to me. But best of all, how many people put their hands up saying they're using Facebook? Maybe 10% of the audience. So that means 90% of you aren't there. 100% of you are on LinkedIn, but only 10% of you are on Facebook. The 10% have got a database an order of magnitude bigger than LinkedIn, and they've got, it's all theirs. All those people on it, all there for them. Okay, what else am I going to say about that? Sometimes when I ask that question as to why you're not on Facebook, I get this reaction, oh, well, Facebook's not really for recruiters. It's a sort of a personal space. It's not appropriate for our business to contact people through Facebook. But I remember a few years ago, and it's not that long ago, that I used to hear recruiters saying, LinkedIn's not for us. I don't want my staff using LinkedIn. They'll leave the business and take all their connections with them. I don't want to expose all my connections to my clients. They'll just go directly. Or LinkedIn's a competitor. Do you remember that? Is that maybe some people just joined the industry and there was LinkedIn? But I'm only talking 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago. That was the reaction when LinkedIn first came out. So if you're going to have that reaction about Facebook, you're probably fighting against the tide. The other thing I'll say is, and this is a stat that I was told, and I was told by a reliable source, but I can't release the information, but I can tell you. Facebook has employment details on over 1 billion people. It's got over 3 times employment details on 3 times the number of all the people on LinkedIn. Now, if you're putting your employment details on Facebook, does that not mean you're open to a conversation about your employment? Probably. Okay. Let's get into the meat of it. Let's see. Oh, pardon me. Let's see how we can start sourcing on Facebook. Probably the biggest reason recruiters don't really source on Facebook is because it's a little bit not difficult, but it's a different mindset, and you need to know how to do it. So I'm going to give you two slides to explain the key points of searching on Facebook. This is number 1. To search on Graph Search, you need to do 2 things, and I've put a third thing here. You need to have a Facebook account, because Facebook isn't actually that public information. But you join Facebook, you've got access to the whole of Graph Search. And secondly, and this is really important, you need to change your language settings on Facebook to English US. Facebook Graph Search was developed as this linguistic processing unit, and it understands languages, but they only built it for American English. So if you don't use American English, they don't give you all of Graph Search. So change your language settings to English US. And the third one I'll say is use Google Chrome, because then you can use one of my tools, because it only works on Google Chrome. So that's the first set of things I want you to do. And then this one. Oh, I'll remind you, there's a Twitter competition where you take a picture of a speaker and one of their key points. Take a picture now. This is my key point. This is the one thing I want you to remember from this presentation. It's not LinkedIn. Okay? Now, LinkedIn, your applicant tracking system and job boards, they are designed around employment stuff. They're designed around job titles and employment details. But Facebook isn't. Facebook is designed around other stuff. What's my next slide? Oh, I know what my next is. It's designed around other stuff. And so whenever you go searching Facebook, don't search it like you would search LinkedIn. You will be disappointed. Let me give you an example which will make it a little bit real. I have two searches here. The one on the left is I'm searching for, I'll tell you what it says at the top, people who live in Brno who work with PHP. PHP is a programming language. The search on the right is people who live in Brno and like PHP. Subtle difference. But the results are 22 results on the left, 133 results on the right. And why is that? Because liking stuff is what Facebook is all about. And the quality of the results you get here, they're a little bit fuzzier with like, but they're actually more useful, because if you look at the way people like things, I scroll to the bottom of the list, so just to prove the point, likes PHP, likes PHP, likes PHP Runner. I don't know what PHP Runner is, but I suspect it's something to do with PHP, the programming language, and other things. And if you find, I described it once before as like in Facebook terms is a warm, fuzzy hug of a concept. What I mean by that is it's a positive inclination, it's warm. It's fuzzy in that it relates to all sorts of different things in that sort of general area of a concept. Everything on Facebook is a concept or a page or a node. It's PHP is thought of in Facebook terms as quite a wide collection of different things. So like is a way to connect people with things they like, and they become likers of the thing they like. Oh, what I'll also say is chances are there are more people than 22 PHP programmers in Brno. Facebook graph search doesn't give you all the results, but if you go around tweaking the searches a little bit, you will find more and more people. Okay, give it a break. It's got trillions of connections to search, and it returns it in a fraction of a second. So it tries to throw at you the stuff it finds first, and doesn't try to be comprehensive, which is a problem, but there's nothing we can do about that. I didn't write Facebook. So the lesson to be learned is the hunter must think like your prey. You must think about, what do people use Facebook for? What do they do on Facebook? And if you know what the person you're looking for looks like, then you can find them more easily. So what do people do on Facebook? Well, they do all this stuff. They be social. They share stuff. They like stuff. They exchange photographs. And if you think of it in those terms, you will be an expert sorter. Okay? What else do I want to say? Hunter must think like me. Page number 3. Hold on, I'm working through this. Bear with me. Okay, so just over 2 years ago, Balázs, you see the way all the speakers are referring to each other? This is nice how friendly a group of people we are. Just over 2 years ago, Balázs wrote a brilliant blog, so I thought I'll plagiarize it. And he was talking about how Facebook's URL structure, and he's already given you some URLs earlier on today, and you put numbers into them, and it's brilliant. But it's way too complicated for any normal person to do. So I wrote a tool to do it. And the tool became really popular, and I developed it. And the more I developed, the more I learned about Facebook graph search. And so we now have a tool that's been developed that creates this user interface on top of graph search, which is designed for recruiters to help you search Facebook. And it effectively puts Boolean search techniques and an OR searches on top of graph search, which makes graph search even more popular. And you can run much more complex searches through that tool than you could through Facebook alone. And it's a free tool, so you're welcome all to use it. And this is how you get it. This is not a sales pitch, by the way, because I don't make any money out of this. This is just my gift to you. But you go to my webpage, intel-sw.com. You click on the little button up at the top that I've highlighted in red, which is our software. You go to the intelligent search page. You get a lovely video of me telling you all about an old tool. I must update my video. Click on intelligent search. It'll bring you to the Google Chrome store, hence the reason you need to use Google Chrome. Instead of saying added to Chrome, because I've already added it, it will say, do you want to add it to Chrome? You add it to Chrome and you get this. This is my Facebook search tool. Has anybody seen this before? Is anybody using this? Oh, cool. Oh, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. There were more people put their hands up than put up their hands saying you're sourcing on Facebook. That's interesting. Very strange. Okay, so enough about the tool. I'm not going to talk about the tool and the technology because that's boring. I'm going to talk about how you use it to find people and source people effectively, and this is interesting. People search by location. We can do and or searching now, and thanks again to a conversation with Balash, we worked out how to do this, and nobody else seems to have worked out how to do this. That Facebook search tool, I'm going to boast a little bit about it. I was so pleased to hear a year or so ago that some of my admirers of that tool are the recruitment team within Facebook. So the recruitment team in Facebook use my tool rather than their own tools that some of their developers designed. And so I sort of know more about searching Facebook and the URL structure than Facebook do, and that's worrying anyway. So this is what you can do with it. You can say, I want to find people, tab on the left, people that live presently in Brno or live presently in Prague. And when I type in Prague, then it gives me a drop-down and I can select Prague or some other pages. But whenever you're doing this, always check the one location-wise. There's lots of pages and there's lots of locations. I mean, this theatre will be a place, but generally speaking, if you search for people who live in this theatre, you won't find too many of them. So you need to make sure you choose, well, Brno, the Czech Republic city and a population number, and then you'll get it. So these little subtle tips about using this tool. If I was just to type in Prague and not select from the drop-down, then we're leaving it up to Facebook to say, what Prague are we looking for? And it'll find people. I don't know how many different places called Prague there are in the world, but it'll go searching them all. And then you can find people. Lovely. People search by friends. Everyone has friends, I hope. Certainly you do on Facebook. There seems to be little point of being on Facebook if you don't have friends. Friends is one of the fundamentals on Facebook. And so if you search by people's friends, you can find all sorts of interesting things. So I can do a search. I want to find people who live in Brno or Prague who are friends with me. I can search my friends. I can search my friends' friends. I can search people that are not my friends, which is useful. I can search for an individual's friends. So I can search Mikael's friends. Wonder if he knew I could do that. Maybe he does. Some people lock that down, and if they do, then you can't search their friends. But a lot of people don't, including Michael. So I can search his friends. But this is where it becomes really powerful. I can search his friends who are also Balash's friends. Think about this. Think about this. If you've got two, who am I going to find if I search for Balash's friends and Michael? They're going to be recruiters, aren't they? They're going to be... I didn't run the search, by the way. Maybe I should have done. I'm going to find people that are in the industry. I'm not going to find their brothers and sisters or their aunts and uncles. So if you've got two people that work in the same organization, who are their friends in common going to be? Other people work in the organization. If you've got two people who went to the same class at university together, who are their friends in common going to be? What's next? Oh, I wish I should pay more attention to my notes here. Oh, another page. I'm talking too fast for my paper turning. So this is one of the things. Oh yeah, I did find. There we go. Yeah, Joseph. He's one of the friends in common, and he's also one of my friends. So it says they're friends in Balash since 2015, November 2015. Groups. Do you remember when groups used to be good on LinkedIn, and now they're sort of not? Don't know why. But Facebook groups are becoming really, really popular. And I love groups because groups are a clear indicator, particularly professional groups. A person associates themselves with a topic is one really good reason. So you can find anybody who's a PHP group. Well, you're not going to join a PHP group if you're not a PHP programmer. But also it gives you a really good way to connect and engage with people that you join the group, and you can message them all. So again, I can type in group member PHP. My suggestion list allows me to select a specific group, so I can see there's a PHP group with 140,000 people in it, but if I filter it by location, I'll find just the people who are in that group in that location. If I don't select from the drop-down list, Facebook will give me any group with PHP in the name. So I can find groups that I didn't even know existed. That's very useful. And there's lots and lots of other options there on searching Facebook because we've included lots of other things. You can search for what people like, which I showed you in the two searches side by side. Do that one, it's really useful. You can also search for their job title or their employer, and I sort of said don't do that, but don't do it in isolation. Do it maybe as your first search to give yourself some ideas as to what's happening. Yeah? But then keep on searching thereafter. So if you want to do talent mapping of a company, do a search to see who works there, and then visit all the pages, and then find out who all their friends are in common, and you'll get everybody else, other than the people in that company who don't use Facebook or who just don't like anybody else in the company. You know. What else have we got? Lives. Friend searches. Lives is our most popular criteria. Friend searches, so powerful, really useful to use that one. Groups as well. Age, gender, language people speaks, really good for multilingual type recruitment. Places they visited is good. Education is about where they studied. Relationship status, single, married, widowed, and interested in. Men interested in women, men interested in other men. Relationship status. Strangely enough, I added those on as a little bit of a joke for Valentine's Day, but they've become our most popular search criteria. I only assume recruiters are looking for love. Or maybe there are other reasons. I'm not going to go into. I don't know. It's funny what people use Facebook for. But don't just search for people. Sorry, can I go back? Yeah. Do you see the list down the left-hand side, searching for people? But you can also search pages, groups, events, posts, and photos. And really, you need to think about what Facebook is all about, because it gets really exciting when you start looking at other things. Don't just search for people. Thank you. Oh, don't worry, I'm talking later on today, and I will lay out all my bits of paper on the floor, and then I'll stare at my feet. Okay. So if you are searching for people, that's great, but if you search for other things, you find lots of other channels to get information. Information on other ways to find people, or information about those people, or information about companies, or industries, or lots and lots of other stuff, because it's the biggest open database in the world, and it's got all the information you could ever want. So let's try searching for pages. A page in Facebook terms is like a company page. It's like that, but it's bigger than that, because everything on Facebook is a sort of a page. There are pages for job titles, there are pages for locations, there are pages, everything's a page. So in this instance, I do a search for show me pages that are liked by members of a group called PHP. Do you see how you can do really complicated searches? So a group of people who are in any group called PHP, what pages do they like? And you could put location criteria on that and other things. I don't know what it yields, but it'll yield something of interest. Groups. Now, I showed you searching for the members of a group, which is really useful. But it's also really cool to go searching for the groups that people are in. Either a group of people, people who are members of one group, what other groups they're in, or individuals. This is a friend of mine, Jim Stroud, who Bala says he's a sorcerer, and we recommend you follow him. He does lots of really cool YouTube videos. And I thought, I'd just written the tool, and I thought, I'm going to try it on somebody, and Jim came to my head, so I thought, find out what groups Jim's in. And he's in lots of recruitment groups, but then I noticed he's also in things like Stroud Pate Family. It's a closed group. Hello, family. The purpose of our group is faith, family, and fun. I thought, I now know all Jim's family. So when I met Jim, I said, hey, Jim, how are you? Oh, I'm good, Shane. How's your wife, Carmen? Oh, she's lovely. How's your mother, Barbara? Good memory, Shane. Well remembered. Oh, she's good. Good. What about all your in-laws, the Reeds and the Walker families? You've been Facebooking me. And it was really interesting to see just how much information you can see about people and get an understanding of it. And I thought, well, Jim's a friend of mine. I wonder if I can find information on people that I'm not friends with. Wonder what groups Mark Zuckerberg's in. Wonder if I can find out anything interesting about him. Now, I wasn't expecting to, because I am expecting Mark Zuckerberg to know a thing or two about Facebook. I'm not expecting him to expose his life on Facebook like an amateur, like an idiot who doesn't understand the simple openness of graph search. These are all Mark Zuckerberg's neighbors. 12 of them. No, she's not. That's his wife. Isn't that amazing? I showed this at a conference, which unfortunately the recruitment team in Facebook were at. After the conference, I got this urgent message, Shane, we need to talk. I thought, they thought I'd hacked Facebook. They thought I'd broken it. Thought, we need to talk to you. And I felt as though the hand of a lawyer was about to pounce on me, if not worse. And I said, no, honestly, it's not me. This is Facebook. Do you see how rich Facebook is? Do you see how intensely intimate it is about the information you can get on people? It scared the Facebook people, but I thought, this is just incredible. I mean, Mark Zuckerberg, he knows how Facebook works. He knows this information is available to search, but it's all there for you. Searching for events. Oh, old school recruitment. Imagine meeting people face to face. Just imagine it. How powerful would that be? So here we go, searching for events in Brno, in the future, that my friends are going to. Yeah, but pick a person who you know is a rare source candidate. Find the events they're going to go to, because there'll be others, and then you just go along and meet them all. Really, really useful. Do you remember when LinkedIn had events? I thought they were quite good, and then they stopped them. So now Facebook is taking over that again. I'm seeing Facebook eroding LinkedIn in all sorts of different and interesting ways. LinkedIn is being bought by Microsoft. It will be very interesting to see what happens in the future, and there will be opportunities for Facebook in that transition, for Facebook to steal a march on LinkedIn. Searching for posts. Posts, again, are the lifeblood of Facebook. It's what Facebook is used for, sharing stuff. And my goodness, it gives you an insight into the workings of people's minds when you look for the posts they post. Posts liked by Balázs. Sorry, maybe I shouldn't have said that phrase just before Balázs. It's not just Balázs that gives you an insight, although the workings of Balázs's mind are interesting nonetheless. You know, if you go onto somebody's timeline and you can see what they put up, that's a tiny fraction of what they actually do on Facebook. But you can go in and search just the posts he likes, just the posts he posts, posts he's commented on, or groups of people. Or posts about subjects, and it will educate you. And you try to do this anyways, recruiters, because I'm assuming most of you interview your candidates for cultural fit type issues. See what they're like as people. Have a look at what they post on Facebook, and you'll find out what they're like as people. You know? Maybe. Photos. I'm winding up now, but I have saved the best to last. If you thought intersecting friends to find friends in common is powerful, it's nothing compared to photographs. This is, you see, the thing is, and this is maybe the fundamental difference between the likes of LinkedIn or a job board and Facebook. LinkedIn is all about what you tell Facebook, about what you tell LinkedIn about yourself. But Facebook isn't like that. Facebook knows a lot about you because of what other people tell it about you. And it's all searchable. So even a minimal Facebook profile can be rich in information because of what other people do to interact with that. My wife was invited to a birthday party a few weeks ago, and the next day, our neighbor called in. She said, "Oh, I saw you were at such and such a restaurant yesterday." She said, "How did I know? How did you know that?" "Oh, I saw a photograph of you on Facebook." "What? You saw I was at a party yesterday on Facebook?" "Yes." "And all my Facebook friends can see that?" "Yes." She was invited to 2 birthday parties the day before, one of which she had to make a polite excuse. So, "Oh, I'm not available." But all those people saw that she was at another birthday party. What do you do? It's really scary what's available for photos. So I did a search. I said, "Show me photographs tagged with Balázs that I'm also in." Now, you can lock down who sees your friends, but really you don't lock down who sees your photographs. It can be done to some extent, but when people tag you on a photograph, you're tagged until you untag yourself. And I got this. This is a conference that Balázs is, strangely enough, top middle. I'm slightly hiding behind the back. But there are 16 other people tagged in this photograph. Who do you think they're going to be? They're going to be recruiters. So do you see the power of Facebook and the power of this huge data source that is available to you for free? So that's it for me for this session. I hope you found that useful. Have I encouraged you to use Facebook? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Shane. Tak, přichází oblíbená část, čas na otázky. Během celé přednášky, máte někdo nějaký dotaz, na který byste se mohli Shayna tady live zeptat? OK. Poprosím mikrofon.
Shane, thank you for sharing the presentation, very inspiring. My question goes to LinkedIn, and I would like to know what future you predict to LinkedIn with all the changes that are happening now.
Oh.
Thank you.
I don't know. I really don't know. I've predicted in the past what LinkedIn's going to do, and I've been completely wrong, so I don't really want to make any predictions now. Well, I'll mention it I'm doing a session this afternoon on engagement, and just this week I noticed a post up where Facebook is starting to trial some stuff which is very obviously trying to steal ground from LinkedIn. They're introducing job tabs and apply through Facebook for jobs. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. I know I've just not answered your question about what LinkedIn's going to do. I don't know. I don't know. Balish wrote a blog about it. Maybe Balish is the person to answer that question. You're looking really startled that I put you on the spot. I honestly don't know. LinkedIn is being bought by Microsoft in the next period of time. Things like Microsoft owns Skype, so maybe there's going to be some integration there, which would be really interesting. I don't know. I really don't know. Sorry, I can't help. Maybe somebody else here knows. Would anybody else like to make a comment on that or speculation on it, and we'll hold you accountable in the future when it happens or not?
Okay. My question: what's the strangest content you have found on Facebook? And don't say my mother.
Can I say that? I mean, I'm not a recruiter or a sourcer. I develop tools for doing it, so I probably haven't dabbled around that much. Although when we're testing this software, we go looking to try and find all sorts of things. I mean, for me, strange stuff is when stuff works or when it doesn't work. And I get excited about, I mean, the and/or searching. I didn't think it was possible until last month. I didn't think graph search facilitated that. And then I realized it is possible to do it in some contexts, and the more we experimented, the more we realized we can do this in a really good way. But you can only, at the moment, I can only do one, this or this or this, and this and this and this. I can't do this or this and this or this. But then somebody said, what about not searching? And I thought, I don't know. I haven't worked out how to do that yet. But then I was reading some stuff on the underlying technology behind Facebook graph search, and it turns out not searching is facilitated. So you could do, I want this and not this. But I haven't worked out how to do it yet in real life. So that's one of the things I'm working on. So really, it's not so much about finding unusual stuff. It's about finding interesting stuff and new stuff that we can do to hack in a friendly way Facebook to see what we can do next.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Dámy a pánové, Shane Mccusker.